Le Coupe du Monde de rugby sur Petit Déjeuner Off the Ball.
Translation: the Rugby World Cup on Off the Ball Breakfast.
Oh, Cameron.
Oh, I like that. I like that sting.
Which you made yourself.
Yeah. Who'd have thunk it? That guy speaking French is really good.
Yeah.
We should get him on more. It is me.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
You haven't seen this flex yet where Cameron will screenshot something from Twitter and you'll realise, oh, hang on a second, his Twitter's actually in French.
Yeah.
The settings are...
Keep practicing, right?
Yeah, tweet is tweet in French.
Not anymore. What do we send message? Is that what it's now?
It's just envoyer.
Okay, nice. That
So
makes
there you go.
sense.
Yeah. So gracias for that.
De nada.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Cameron, you better explain this to the sceptical live audience.
Well, I'm going to go through all of Ireland's World Cup opponents, some more famous than others. We have Romania coming up this weekend, so I thought, maybe, not many people know too much about Romanian rugby. It's kind of gone into obscurity over the last couple of years. They weren't in 2019. So I thought a nice wee refresh on Romanian rugby would do everybody the world a good ahead of the weekend.
Okay, sounds good.
So they only qualified for this tournament after Spain, who came second in the European qualifying tournament, were docked 10 points for fielding an ineligible player, allowing Romania to go through. They were the next best team. That was, funnily enough, the same thing happened to Romania in 2019, which meant they weren't in Japan 4 years ago. So it's been an 8-year gap between World Cups for Romania. They're 19th in the world rankings, only ahead of Namibia and Chile in terms of the World Cup teams. Most of their players are playing domestically or in the French lower divisions, apart from prop Thomas Kretsu, who turns out for Stade Francais, and lock Adrian Motok, who's at Biarritz. He was sent off against Italy in one of their warm-ups, but has since had his red card overturned, Owen Farrell style, but it's actually stayed. Also in that squad is Jason Tomane, brother of Joe, of Wallabies Montpellier and latterly Leinster fame.
Okay.
They had former England and Scotland head coach Andy Robinson in charge until December of last year, when he quit unexpectedly, saying, "This is as far as we can take this team."
What a career he's had.
Oh.
Incredible stuff.
Pants to the side, and that would have been a good old school as we score our 80th point, and it's Robinson going, we've seen this face before.
Yeah, I think it's like it kind of blew up in crazy circumstances, even by the standards of Romanian rugby, the Robinson walkout.
Yeah, ostensibly it was just a run of poor performances, but apparently there was a fallout between the senior players and Robinson, so he shuffled off.
It's weird. He kind of he had a bit not an influence, but he, on his way out, he was like, you guys have to appoint like an indigenous manager for this team.
Right.
It's kind of weird that the party manager would be like, this is what the country needs to do, but it seems that they've done that anyway. They've got a Romanian at the helm.
Yeah, he must have done his Ancestry.com test and said, very little Romanian blood here. We need something better than this.
Has anybody, for the first time, has anybody looked at the spread this week? Do you know what it is?
No.
Do you want to hazard a guess? Have you looked
30.
at it? Have you looked at it?
No.
Higher.
50?
Higher.
Oh, no way.
62.
Ouch.
62 points is the spread.
They're not that optimistic, no.
Is there not a question of player safety and player welfare? Like, would Clontarf not be less than 62 points underdogs against Ireland? They probably would be, if they could pick their Leinster Academy players.
It's good for them to get a run out, and they've said during the week that they're playing the best team in the world. They'll learn so much from this, and just to be at a World Cup is great, even if it's at the expense of a walloping by our boys. So
Are Ireland going to? But you're saying that with the certainty that Ireland are going to win by 62.
Well, wait and see what the team is named. If we name the South Africa team, which some people expect us to do, then I suspect it'll be 80, because it'll be 40 by 20 minutes. And then it's a question of how important is it that we keep the...
I think they probably keep a few in reserve if there's a big gap, because Tonga's significantly tougher game, I would have thought.
yeah.
So
The Tonga spread could be 20.
Yeah.
Or 25.
Sorry, Cameron, we digress.
It's fine. They have Vern Cotter in their backroom team at the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously the mentor to Joe Schmidt when he was at Claremont, so they have plenty of experience there. He's in for the World Cup, a la Andrew Goodman for Samoa, and some of their recent results, they came third in this year's Rugby Europe Championship, which is played concurrently with the Six Nations, behind Georgia and Portugal. They've been hit by a bit of an injury crisis, unfortunately. So Mihai McAvey, who's one of two cap centurions for the squad, he suffered a left calf tear and is out of the tournament. The other centurion scrum half Florence Suriju is also facing a race to be fit. He's the only player in this squad who played in 2015. So it's a very young squad, very inexperienced. They're hoping that this will be the start of something. Co-captain Ovidiu Kojikaru said, "We've changed many things. Our staff's young, our players are young, and we're growing together. The youngest players will go to the front. We're keen to learn more and grow as players. This is why we'll step up." So they're hoping to have a good performance, and they feel like playing Ireland is weirdly the best scenario for them. It doesn't look like they're going to win too many games in this World Cup, unfortunately. Even Tonga will probably put a score on them. So the experience, I guess, will be the big thing for them.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I certainly played on some underage teams that would get routinely hammered week on week, and I never really found that it helped my love of any sport.
Maybe,
being brutalised is not I mean, maybe nowadays things have changed, but generally people did not enjoy that.
They laughed that up. We love that.
Maybe I like the pain.
We've got a nice masochistic streak, our generation. So,
is that what does that explain the choking?
We won't say that. We won't talk about that. So their history is quite interesting.
What a week to come back. I'm like, what have I missed around these places? I just had another
Shane's
week.
ASMR and now this. Their history is actually fascinating as well, Romania, especially in relation to France. There's an expectation there'll be quite a sizable Romanian population at the game in Bordeaux. They're in the Francophonie, which I always find really random, which is like for those who don't know, is like the French Commonwealth. So
what?
Yeah, so there's a big group of countries who have French as something as a majority language. So Romania and Moldova, for some reason, are in this, along with a lot of the former French colonies. It's really weird. It's such a quirk. And they've long historical ties, because France were really the only country in the West that Romania would have had constant correspondence to during the communist years. So it's a mad wee relationship.
That's interesting. Like, I was watching the Squidge Rugby review of Romania during the week, and he was making the point that France wanted to create a sort of breakaway to the Six Nations, or maybe the Five Nations at the time. I can't remember when, but it was around the turn of the century, and they played a game against Romania, and they were like, this is going to be the new Six Nations. We are going to have a rival to the Six Nations in Europe. And then they absolutely walloped Romania, and they were like, yeah, maybe not actually.
Well, between 1960 and 1990, France lost to Romania 8 times, which I found mad. Because that was a golden era.
0 times to Ireland.
If World Rugby had been more inclusive, I think Romania would probably be in a better spot. But they were like, no, we don't want you.
No.
We want to ring fence all of our success and the top 8, top 9 nations in the world.
Yeah, they looked at Italy and said, no, we want some of that.
Yeah.
All right. Versus Bucharest.
Is that it?
Pretty much. They won a bronze medal at the 1924 Olympics in rugby.
Well, that'll really stand to them, won't it?
Yeah. So if they can embody the team of 100 years ago.
Draw on that experience, yeah.
One of 3 teams in that competition as well. So.
Okay, that again was the premiere of Cameron's Rugby World Cup Hill.
Le Coupe du Monde de rugby, sortie déjeuner off the ball.
Translation: the Rugby World Cup on Off the Ball Breakfast.